Good morning. Welcome to Ashir on Torah Anytime. We are up to Melachim Beis, Kings 2, Perek Hey. So we're going down the miracles from Elisha. Last miracle we had was where he gave a drop of bread to the 100 prophets, and miraculously everybody ate daiva hoiser. It was enough to be left over. And then up to Perek Hey, Naaman sar tzva melech Aram. Naaman is the general of the king of Aram. He was a great warrior, a great high positioned fellow. Everybody looked up at him. Everybody had great respect for him. Now if you remember back in the story, it was his arrow. Well, it wasn't intentional, but his arrow ended up killing Achav. It went between the plates of his shield, of his body armor, and it pierced him. So at least he went home taking the credit that he was the one who killed Achav. But Isha Gibor Chayil was a very powerful man, great warrior, but he had one little issue in life. He was a Matzorah, he was a leper. Now, if this means that he was actually a Matzorah in the Torah's type of a tzaras of leprosy, or it just meant that he had a skin disease, in Pshat it probably means he had skin disease, because a goy doesn't become a Matzorah as like the Torah's type of a leper. But regardless, whatever it was, he definitely had a painful skin disease. So at that point there used to be skirmishes with the people of Israel, but there wasn't like a full-blown battle. So there used to be these skirmishes where they would go make raids.
Raiding parties.
Yeah. Vayishbu me'eretz Yisrael nara ketana. And one day they captured a nara ketana, means a young girl. Well, in the Mefarshim they're busy. If it's a nara, then it's not a ketana, and if it's a ketana, it's not a nara. If she's, a nara, a ketana is somebody who's less than 12, and a nara is 12. But it means, Pashas, it means a young girl. Or it means a girl who was wise beyond her years. But regardless, they captured this girl. Vati lifnei eishes Naaman. And she was a misharsis. She became like this maidservant for the wife of Naaman. And you see also in the Mefarshim over here that, because he was a Matzorah, or he became a Matzorah, and he wasn't able to violate her. Because he captured this young girl, but he can't do anything to her, because he becomes a Matzorah. So all he was able to use her for was to make her into a maidservant for his wife. But regardless, when this girl saw Naaman's saras, she told her master, she told the wife of Naaman, Achale Adoini, if he's going to go Lifnei Hanovi Asher B'Shoimiro in front of Elisha, and he's going to beg him that he should heal him, then he's going to be healed from his leprosy. Because Hashem does miracles through the hands of Elisha. So Naaman hears from his wife what this little girl says. He goes to tell the king of Aram, I found it very interesting that it's like, you have to understand, the little girl from Eretz Yisrael said something, it meant something. Could you imagine, you have this little slave, a little girl, and the general is going to the king and he's saying, wild. And the king of Aram tells Naaman, Lech ba, go. I'm going to send you a letter to the king of Israel that he should heal you. It seems like, like Naaman didn't want to go to Elisha, because how does Elisha know who he is? So it's like everybody used up all their contacts. He went up to He went up to his contact to the king, and the king is going to tell the king to pull him, to pull him a favor to get him to Elisha. This was like a high-profile VIP situation. ויאמר מלך ארם לך בו ויש לך ספר אל מלך ישראל וילך ויקח בידוי 10 כיכרי כסף ו6 חלוף זהב ו10 חליפות בגדם. Expensive gifts. This is just the way things used to work over there. Everything was gifts. 10 talents of silver, 6,000 dinari zav, and 10 changes of clothing. So this letter comes, and it says, all the proper greetings, and then it says, this is the gist of the letter. Punchline of the letter is that I sent you Naaman, my servant, who's sick from leprosy. Heal him or redeem him from his saras. So Yehoram, again, who was the second son from Achav, when Yehoram Melech Yisrael reads it, Vayikra Bagadov, he tears his clothing. Vayomer, and he says, Ani, am I God that I can make people live or die? He says, he's sending me that I should heal somebody from his leprosy. I mean, he knows I'm not God. I can't heal people from leprosy. Why is he sending it to me? He's trying to find a pretext in order to go to battle with me. He wants to find this reason that he sent me all of these gifts. Officially, like he's playing the game that I'm supposed to be able to heal people from this leprosy, which makes absolutely no sense. But at least when I'm not going to do it, he's going to say that I dissed him, and now he's going to be able to come out and he's going to start a conflict. Obviously, this news went around town. That's such a high-ranking official, like Naaman, the opposing general, came all the way down, and he came to the king to ask it. It became news. Somebody tweeted about it. So Elisha hears about this. That the king of Israel ripped his clothing. He rips kriya. He rips his clothing in mourning. So Elisha sends to Naaman a message. He says, why did you just rip your clothing? I mean, hello, I'm the Navi in town. What do you like? Why do you think it's about you? It has nothing to do with you. Send him to me, and I'll heal him. And it should be known that there's a Navi b'Yisrael, there's a prophet of Israel. Which again, if it's the same pattern, Elisha, Eliyahu, they were very much going to protect the honor of God and the honor of the seat of prophecy. So Naaman comes Besusav with his horses, with his chariots, with the whole entourage, because he's a peasant. I mean, at least a high-ranking peasant, but he's a pagan believer. He doesn't have any concept of nevuah or what it means, and he's assuming that if you're going to come to the holy man, you gotta show off that you're a very highly respected individual in order that he should look at you. And he stands there by the door with this whole huge matzav. Elisha doesn't even come out. Gives him attitude. He sends him a messenger to go out. And go wash yourself off 7 times in the Jordan. And your skin is going to return to you. And you'll be purified. Doesn't even come out. Doesn't even look at him. Naaman's issue That's what it seems like from Chazal, was that he was a Balgaiva. He was actually a righteous Gentile. You'll see from the end of the story that he was from the few people that when a miracle happened to him, he actually like downloaded the message and he totally transformed and changed. He was like from the people, that's always what bothers in Nach. That's what bothered Yoina Novi also. That when Hashem sends a message to the Goyim and Nineveh over there, suddenly they get it. But by us, we have miracles all the time, and we say, I hear there was a miracle, but really it wasn't him, it wasn't me. But by Naaman, it doesn't work that way. Naaman, you got a miracle, you got the message, it downloads once and for all, and forever he's a good boy. But regardless, but he's a Balgaiva, he's the chief, he's the biggest warrior. Vayiktzov Naaman, he gets really mad, Vayelach, and he leaves this Navi, he says, V'yemer hine amarti ela yetza yotzoi. I thought that he's going to come out to me, and he's going to respect me like a high-ranking official. V'omad, and he's going to come down. V'kara b'shem Hashem Elikov, and he's going to call out to God to help me. He's going to call out to his God to heal me from his teras. And he's going to lift his hand on the Mitzvah, and it's going to lift off the teras. That means he had in his mind a profile of how things were supposed to go, how the miracle is supposed to come down. It's a big issue. We also do that all the time. We come to the tzaddik and we have it worked out in our head exactly what God's, like what his blueprint. We give God the blueprint and we say, God, if you follow this blueprint, I might actually give a kiddush in your honor. Go out. And so he gets it. So now that he's all mad, that he's sending him to the Jordan, he says, we call them Yisrael. The waters of Parpar, Amono and Parpar in Damascus in Syria is better than all the waters in Israel. I don't bathe in these waters. I always bathe in waters, and it didn't help my tzeras. He turns around and he storms out in anger. You have to understand, I would imagine, this is my own interpretation, that he's probably also pissed off that now he's chozik. Now he's a joke that he listened to some little girl. You have to understand how wild. He listened to this little maidservant, a little girl, Nara Ketana, who sent him on this wild goose chase, that he pulled the biggest contact cards to get to the king, to Elisha, and he comes there and the guy doesn't even, he basically gives him attitude. He says, go. Kai mikveh, Kai mikveh zivmu. So, Vayikshu avodav yidabru eila vayoimru, Avi, our master. So his servants, they came along on the trip too. But they had a little more sense, and they said, Avi, davar godla navi diber elecha leisasa. Let's say he would have told you, let's say he would have came to the Navi, and he would have told you, look, for $1 billion, I can remove your leprosy. Would you pay $1 billion to get your, you would do it. So if he would ask you to do something huge, something crazy, if he would tell you to bring 1,000 oxen for sacrifices, whatever, you would do it. So now that he's telling you to do a little thing, you can't do the little thing? He's telling you to go, wow, she's here already, do it. Don't be such a highfalutin snob. So he listened. See, that's the mila with Naaman. Naaman listens. It's a big problem. It hurts us, it bothers us when we meet people who actually listen. So he goes down and he immerses in the Jordan 7 times. 7 times. Like the words of the holy man, the man of God, and his skin became clean. It returned to the state of kipsar narkoton, like a small child.
Blemishes and wrinkles.
Vayitar, and he became purified from his tzeras, exactly the way Navi said. It's like, if you ever saw the story from Reb Nachman, the Ben Melech Shohem Avonim Toivos, the story of the Ben Melech, the prince who was made from precious stones. Also, you have the end of the story is where his skin, his tzaras, whatever it is, peels off, and he has beautiful skin underneath. Vayita. So now he goes back to the Shalikim. But what's the key of the story? What's the key of the miracle? The bittul part. It wasn't the words of Elisha. Elisha had the tremendous power, but he had to still make himself a vessel of bittul to listen and do something that was totally not up his alley and against his high profile. And that's what was mamshech, that Yeshua had a place with where to come down. Vayoshav Elisha likim hu v'chol machnei v'yovim yam, the fun of standing before the Navi with achno, with a bittul, totally annulled. Vayomer, humbled. Hine no yodaiti, now I know ki ein likim b'chol haaretz kim b'Yisrael. There's only one Lord, one God. Now take a blessing, which over here in this context means take a gift. I want to pay you for it. I want to give you something, a tribute. From your servant. This is very interesting that Elisha here says a shvur. He says, Chai Hashem asher umadeti lefonav, by the living God, that I've stood before him, im ekach, if I will take. So it could be, yesh loimer, that even for Elisha, this was a big, it was an assignment. It was an assignment to take so much. You have here somebody offering you a limitless amount of wealth and payment. So in order to protect himself from himself, that's what people used to make a shvur, to protect themselves from themselves. It's very hard to protect yourself from yourself. Right. Yeah. Nobody else. Yeah, we all know. So that was Chai Hashem Shemad Lufanav Im Ekach. And he says, no way, I'm not taking. And now Naaman puts on the pressure. He wants him to take payment out of gratitude. And he says, absolutely not. Rashi says, because this was money that had connection to Avodah Zarah, or it's because he wanted to do it L'Shem Shamayim, and he wanted that it should be pure without a negia, and it should be that that the holy man is not here in order to take money from you. Regardless, he says absolutely not. Naaman, but Naaman feels very indebted. He also wants to express his own gratitude. So now that he can't give payment, how is he going to express his gratitude for the miracle that happened to him? Would you not give me masot tzemet pirodem adama? Let me take earth from the Holy Land. Amazing, earth. He wanted to fill up earth from the Holy Land. Enough what two mules can carry. And I'm going to bring it back home and build with this earth the altar, Mizbeach. Because I'm not bringing any sacrifices to other gods anymore. I'm done. So I'm bringing back earth from the Holy Land. Now, in the beginning of the story, he kidnaps little girls. In the end of the story, he's begging if he can bring back earth from the Holy Land. Anyway, but one thing, I see he's open and honest. I'm sure it's a painful paydik, this, when you see like a God gets a miracle and it's good. He's now open, honest. He says, just one thing I want to tell you, Yislach Hashem lavdecha, God should forgive me. B'voy Adoni, when my master, the king of Aram, is going to go to his God in the Beis Rimoin, in the house of Rimoin, to bow down to his Avodah Zarah, I accompany him. V'hu nishan al yodi, and he leans on me, v'shtachavesi Beis Rimoin, and therefore I also bow down to Beis Rimoin. So I'm just letting you know, when I'm going to bow down in the house of Rimon, it's not because I believe in Avodah Zarah. It's just because I want to keep my job. I'm working for the king, and when he bows down, I'm going to accompany him and do it with him, just in order to keep the consistent, the decor, the program. Yislach Hashem la'avdecha b'davar hazeh. You know what the crazy thing is? He accepts it. Elisha accepts it. That means he's not becoming a ger. He's becoming like a ger toshav. He's not becoming a ger tzedek. He's becoming like a ger toshav. He's becoming like a right, like a sheva mitzvah ben enoch type of thing. He was majorly impressed. He said, "I'm done with all my idols. I get it. That's the God. I ain't becoming Jewish. I'm letting you know that when I go to the house of idols and I bow there, it's just plain politics and plain decor. It has nothing to do with my belief system. I'm bringing back earth from the Holy Land. I'm going to be making altars." Oy! He says, "Go in peace. Yeah, you can take along the earth with you." And he returns home with his 2 mules of earth that he's going to build the altar. And now comes in the Gehazi story. So Gehazi, he's the Gabba from Elisha. And although Chazal heard say that he was a big Talmid Chacham, he didn't have that pure agenda that Elisha had. He liked money, he liked things. He was that Gabba who used to try to monetize the Rebbe. There's always around the big Rebbes. There's Gehazis. It's just part of the set, you know. You know, Eliyahu Hanavi, you only meet Eliyahu Hanavi. It's like until you got to Eliyahu Hanavi, he comes and he goes. Elisha was much more accessible. He had a Gabba. But when you have this great master, the Rebbe, with the Gaboim, it ends up being like an Elisha Gehazi, you know, it has that dynamic, that arrangement. Gehazi says to himself, he's serious. He stopped Naaman from giving something. You know that we could have had enough money now to support the court and the yeshiva. I could also make a few dollars on the side too. Right. You know what? We could have. The Rebbe doesn't understand. What should we do? He swears to God. You better believe I'm going to go after him and get something. I'm not going to waste this big, huge. Finally, we got the billionaire to come down to the Rebbe, and I'm just going to let him out of my hands. What are you, nuts? Gehazi runs after Naaman. And Naaman sees that Gehazi, that the Gabba is Ratz Achrov. He like jumps down from the chariot to Krasa. He's like, whoa! Is everything okay? He says, yes. Just Adoini Shlochani Leimo, and my master sent me. So he's shrewd. He doesn't say I want. He doesn't say, the Gabba doesn't say I want. Just Hashgacha Pratis, crazy thing just happened. As soon as you left, 2 Na'arim, from 2 youth from Har Ephraim, who are children from the Nevi'im, they need help. You know, it's plain. There's these two broken souls out of Malait came to no lahem kikar kesef. Give them a talent of silver, shtei chalifas begodim, and 2 changes of clothing. Vayoyim and Naaman hoyel. Hoyel is the lashon of shvua. Vayoyel hoyel. Vayoyim and Naaman hoyel. Swear to me that that's what the prophet did, because Naaman didn't buy it. He didn't buy it that Elisha sent. Something didn't sound right. He said, the oil, swear to me. And then it means hoyel, therefore, that means after you swear to me, therefore, kach kikrayim, not 1, 2 talents of silver. So now Gehazi played the opposite game. He was that shrewd that he said, no, I don't need double. He only had the Rebbe only asked for 1. 2. But Yifrat's boy, so Naaman is pressuring him now. He's playing the game that you have to run after him to take it. He puts it into 2 bags of sorts, or sacks. Shtei chalifas begadim, 2 changes of clothing. Vayiten al shnei na'arav v'yisrael lefanam. It seems that he sent it with the shnei na'arav because he still didn't believe. He also smelled that something is funny, so he didn't give it over to him. He sent his 2 servants to go bring it back in order to make sure that it's taka. But when they came to this hidden place,
Citadel.
what?
Citadel.
Citadel?
Yeah.
Citadel?
Citadel.
It was a quiet. The point is that it was a secret place. It was a place where it wasn't seen. He took it from their hand, and he told them, it's okay, you can go already, because obviously he didn't want him to come back with him. He hid it. He sent the Naaman, he sent Naaman's servants when they left. Now that he hid it and he put it away, and B'Pashtus, you see later from the story, with this money, he bought himself all the things that suddenly there was a new lease and there was things started to happen. But regardless, he comes back. He stands there in front of his master. And Elisha says, where you Gehazi? From who comes to Ephayita? And the way it seems from Chazal is that he wanted to give him an opportunity to admit. Yeah, to fess up and to take responsibility and own it. When he said, he says, no, I wasn't anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. So now he lies. And he says, did my heart not go with you when you went to Naaman? Don't I know? Wasn't I there, at least in his nevuah and his prophecy, when Naaman fell out of the chariot to go, if I'm the prophet, and I'm the guy who just healed him from his leprosy, do you really think that I don't know? I know. Do I not know that you went lekachas es hakesef v'lokachas begodim v'zeisim uchramim v'tzoin uvokar v'avodim u'shvachos? Do I not know that you went to take clothing, olives, vineyards, tzoin, bokar, avodim u'shvachos? Bottom line is that you took all this in order to become rich. Oy, oy. Therefore, being that you bought Naaman was worthy for this miracle, and he paid with bittul. He paid with bittul for the miracle. But now that you bought it, now that you took from him money, v'tzeras Naaman tidbak b'cha u'b'zaracha li'olam v'yetzei melefonov metzoyrek hasholeg. And the leprosy you bought off, you bought off the leprosy from Naaman, and it's going to stick to you and your children, the olam. And he left him white like snow with metzoyrek. Now Chazal say it was a problem. It was a problem because, you see later, it was a problem because Gehazi, because he was doiche b'shtei yadayim, he pushed him away. Here's where Chazal learned that you should have yamin, small doiche, yamin mekareves. Here's where you see that because he pushed him b'shtei yadayim, he fried out. He went OTD. And he made people be Aved Avodah Zarah, and Elisha was held accountable that even though the guy was the greatest, shmo, Elisha still should have gave him a way back and not totally pushed him away, because that caused a lot of issues later. You have to know how to play the game. L'chaim.